In this episode of The Christian Philosopher, we're going to talk about how Jesus fulfilled ancient Messianic prophecy and why this is the second reason to think that Christianity is true. Welcome back, everyone. Scott Sullivan here with the Aquinas School of Theology and Philosophy. I'm doing a series of videos, 10 reasons to think that Christianity is true. This is video number 2 in that series. The first video I did was the argument from Christ's character. We talked about how Jesus claimed to be divine, he claimed to be God, and if he's wrong about that, he's either lying or he's severely insane. And insofar as it's not reasonable to think that Jesus Christ himself was this huge pathological liar or just severely insane, we should accept his claim to be God. We're going to build on that foundation now. Not only did Jesus claim to be God, but he backed it up. And one of the ways that he backed it up was the fulfillment of prophecy. Now, of course, we're talking about the Old Testament prophecies of a coming Messiah. So when you look in the Old Testament, you see these different prophecies written about a coming Messiah, different things that the Messiah is going to do. And these things are written over centuries, different authors, different times, different works. Okay, so the Old Testament is full of these ancient prophecies about the Messiah. Now, this argument from prophecy is, in fact, very interesting. It is, in fact, one of the primary arguments that Jesus Christ himself used. He said, search the scriptures. That is to say, hey, you don't believe in my divine mission? Go and read the Old Testament. Read these ancient messianic prophecies and see if they don't, in fact, match my life. He thought, at least, the answer would be obvious. In fact, if he said that if you didn't buy it, if you don't see how these prophecies are about him, you have a moral problem, not an intellectual one. He called it hardness of heart. So Jesus at least thought this connection between the ancient messianic prophecies and his life was obvious. All right, so how might this argument work for us? Let's state it this way. If the life of Jesus fulfills a significant set of messianic prophecies, then the religion he taught is true. The life of Jesus fulfills a significant set of messianic prophecies, therefore the religion he taught is true. Now, by the phrase significant set here, what I mean is having enough detail that you can tell who it's about. So, for example, imagine an artist drawing a picture of George Washington, right? A significant set of lines would be enough lines on the paper that you can tell beyond a reasonable doubt that this is, in fact, a picture of George Washington. Now, this first premise seems obviously true to me. If the life of Jesus does, in fact, fulfill this set of messianic prophecies to a sufficient amount of detail, then we've got good reason to think that true prophecy has happened. That this wasn't an accident. These ancient prophets didn't just write this stuff and accidentally get it right and just happen to match Jesus. I don't think that's reasonable. I think what we have here, if that happened, this would be a case of true prophecy, something that only God can do, and therefore you've got this sort of divine stamp of approval on the teachings of Jesus. So if the life of Jesus does match this set of ancient prophecies, we've got good reason to think that the religion he taught is true. So I think the main question here is that second premise. Does the life of Jesus, in fact, match this ancient set of prophecies? And how might you go about, showing this? I think one good way to look at it is imagine a pile of puzzle pieces, right? Just a random pile of puzzle pieces. They're just kind of mushed all together. And if I were to ask you, hey, I want you to assemble this puzzle, put it together, it would be very difficult if you didn't know a little bit in advance about what the puzzle was supposed to be about. In other words, if you don't have the box top to the puzzle, some kind of interpretive key, something to make sense of all the pieces, it would be very difficult to put all these pieces together. So I think these ancient prophecies work in a similar way. We've got a big pile of them here, and we need to make sense of them. We start with a certain hypothesis. We start with the idea that Jesus might be the fulfillment of these. He might be the box top that we need to make sense of all these pieces. And then we just go and look at the data and see what we come up with. And I think when we do that, we come up with a remarkable similarity. We have a story here. We could put these things together in a certain story, and it has a remarkable similarity to the life of Jesus. Now, you need to know there are a whole lot of prophecies in the Old Testament, and the actual number is disputed. Some people list it in hundreds. Some people would say it's less than that. I'm not going to get into all that. Okay, I have a list here of what I think are 16 clear ones. I got 16 good ones. I think that's all we need. That's our significant set. You know what I mean? So there are 16 prophecies here that I think refer to the life of Jesus. I'm going to give you my interpretations, interpretations of these texts. I'll give you the citation as well, and you can check it and see if you think I'm right. But I insist that these interpretations that I give of these texts are at least plausible ones. Okay, so I'm going to give you these. I'm going to give you these prophecies with the citation, and you can check it out for yourself to see if you in fact agree. Here are 16 prophecies that I think refer to the life of Jesus. The Messiah will come from the tribe of Judah and the house of David. The Messiah will come into this world by way of some kind of a special birth, possibly a virgin. The Messiah will be born in the town of Bethlehem and be both in time and yet timeless and eternal. The Messiah will have both a human and a divine nature. The Messiah will be both the Son of David, but also David's Lord. The Messiah will be both a king and a priest. The Messiah will work a ministry of miracles. The Messiah will be rejected by his own Jewish people. The Messiah will be betrayed by even his own friend. Despised and rejected, weak and thirsty, the Messiah's hands and feet will be pierced, and during his death, people will think he is forsaken by God, and all who see him will mock him, wagging their heads, saying, "He trusted in God, let him deliver and rescue him." Some who stare at the Messiah will cast lots for his garments. The Messiah will bear the penalty for mankind's sins. After dying, the Messiah will be buried in a rich man's grave. The Messiah will rise from the dead. The Messiah will be light to the Gentiles, so that even the non-Jew will worship the God of Israel because of him. The Messiah will establish an everlasting kingdom, and there will be no end to his government. The Messiah will visit the second temple, but since we know from history that the second temple was destroyed in 70 AD by the Romans, all the above prophecies must happen before that time. So that's it. When you take all these prophecies and you put them together, you get a summary in significant detail, I say, of the life of Jesus. I mean, if someone were to give you this list of details and say, "Hey man, I'll give you 10 grand, I'll give you $10,000 if you can tell me who this story is about," I mean, who are you going to say, right? No, this is clearly a story about the life of Jesus. So these major points of Messianic prophecy, I think, offer a stunning amount of detail. There is a remarkable similarity between this collection of ancient Messianic prophecies and the life of Jesus. I think this is simply undeniable. But how do we explain this? We have so many different writers writing at different times, different books, centuries before Jesus ever existed on this earth. Are you really going to say that all this just happened to fall together by chance? I think that's simply absurd. So what we have here is that Jesus fulfilled a set of essential prophecies within a certain time frame, right? We have a cap here, 70 AD. One of the Messianic prophecies says that the Messiah must visit the second temple, but that temple was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. So all these prophecies had to be fulfilled before that time, and that's exactly what we have. He was born where the prophet said. He came into the world when the prophet said he would. He performed miracles and was rejected and despised and suffered a crucifixion. But then he was exalted and then reportedly continued his activity even after his death. He even brought light to the non-Jewish world so that now the Gentiles worship the God of Israel. All this happened, right, just as the prophecies said it would. So insofar as we've got good reason to think that the life of Jesus matches these ancient Messianic prophecies, we've got good reason to think that Christianity is true. Hey guys, just real quickly, if you like this stuff and you want to learn more about what I teach, you can check out my website, scottimsullivan.com. And there I have a free trial into the Aquinas School of Theology and Philosophy. There you can take full courses in theology, philosophy, apologetics, logic. You can take tests and test your knowledge and earn certificates. A lot of stuff going on there. And again, like I said, you can get a free trial at my website, scottimsullivan.com.